just keeping people's minds on it, as well as, I guess, a little bit of an update, an unexpected one. So with the censorship issue, um, some places aren't doing great, unfortunately. I wish you all the best of luck in the countries that are having problems. Um, people have been people have been calling and pushing against the credit card companies, though, which I really, really appreciate and like, and may or may not have participated in. It is a huge deal that that is happening in order to try to basically say, "Oh, you've already told people that you can be convinced this way. Now you're gonna have to deal with it from people that you don't like." Is basically the issue, and a lot of people have been reporting that the phone lines are the people on the other end are kind of melting down, and the card companies are throwing fits over the fact that, well, they effed around. Now they're going to find out. Um, One of the big things that came out was they basically came out and called everyone that's against them predators, which I've said this before, I'll say it again. Whenever people, what is happening with my tracking? Something, I don't know what's going on with my tracking, so I'm probably going to have to fix that at some point. All right. Anyways, whenever people come out and accuse you and just start calling names without any proof or evidence and not actually applying any kind of real argument, that is when you know you've basically won the argument. Now, they may still try to force themselves, they may still try to use the weight that they carry to force things through their connections and stuff. But generally speaking, when people start with the insults, the name calling, the double standards, and the rigged questions, the logical fallacies, it's done. They have lost the actual argument and are just, and probably know it because they're not using any actual evidence against you. It's just, oh, you want these adult games? Well, then you must be a predator. Which, I don't play these games, but I will still defend them on the basis that if I don't, I'll be next. Hi, Rippy. I know I will. VTubers are not liked. The card companies have also gone after anime and manga. They have gone after furries, which I am definitely part of the anime and manga crowd. There's an argument for if I'm part of the furry crowd. VTubers in general are not liked. We are absolutely targets. Also, I'm a gamer, and gamers are currently the ones being attacked. So, from that basis, it's like, look, we got to defend stuff whether or not we like it. Because if we don't, they'll keep pushing, and then it will hit something that you care about, even if you don't care about this now. But, like, since they're already in the calling people names without evidence side of things, which, by the way, they also lied and said that no, they didn't pressure against games when it happened. People on both sides, both for and against the censorship, we're talking about how they were putting pressure on specific games and specific types of games. And documents have been leaked showing that that's what it is. So they lied during that as well. There's a bunch of petitions, including at least one change.org petition against this. I will be reposting the change.org petition. I have to admit, as a site, I don't have a great history with change.org. When I used it to help petition against a censorship bill years ago, they leaked my information, and I was getting contact from the people that were for censorship, basically. And so me and change.org don't see eye to eye, but at the same time, we don't have a lot of alternatives to the site, so I will still link to it. I have already linked to Good Old Games, which has a free packet for the next 48 hours of the kind of games that have been targeted by this. I would recommend picking them up even if you have no interest in them, purely as a show of solidarity. That's just me. I have no skin in that race at all. There are 2 censorship bills going forward in the U.S. Please call your representatives and senators to push back against it. There has already been a pushback from the just U.S. A brain fart. So, someone has already criticized the censorship going on from. Man, my brain just blanked on legislative, judicial, executive. It was. I don't think it was Trump himself, but someone representing the executive branch already criticized what was going on. So, yay, we have maybe one ally. There is also a bill to tell the credit card companies they can't do censorship. Calling to say we support that one would also be really, really good. I do have to actually commend itch.io on some of their actions. When they gave in in a bad way. But they seem to have figured out real quick that was not a good idea and backtracked. And while I'm still going to give them a hard time over how quickly they folded, I will commend them for how they have chosen to handle things when they realized they made a mistake. They are relisting all the free games because since those don't have to go through the payment processors, that is saying you can't say anything about this since you don't have anything to do with this. Unfortunately, that means the paid games still will not be able to return, but they are also already talking about alternative payment processor methods. And the initial responses coming out of Visa and MasterCard seems to be they're pretty unhappy about that. Who would have thought? American Express and Discover are the 2 card lines I know of. Zelle is an option. Unfortunately, Stripe uses the regular card processors, so they can still control that one. I think Cash App also is direct peer-to-peer. Venmo is not. Venmo goes through PayPal, who has played nice with this before. And there is one other one I'm trying to think of whose name I can't remember. I'm looking to see if I actually have them on my phone. I don't think I do. No, I don't. But then the final one is obviously going to crypto, which is true peer-to-peer, not switching to a different processor and hoping they also don't decide to play this game. So that is what's going on there. I would love to see like a wallet system where you could use automated counting house, send straight from your bank to load it up type stuff, kind of like with the Steam Wallet, which Steam Wallet doesn't do ACH, but if they added it, that would be cool. Just the more instead of picking one solution, we pick a bunch of solutions, and then, with the whole bunch of solutions, then it becomes, okay, someone isn't going to give, which means it's much riskier for anyone else to give, because then all their business will just pick the other option, basically. So that is that, and these are not certains, but there has been talk of Valve Pay, there has been talk of XPay, so that is the quick summary version of a lot of that side of the censorship thing going on. I guess I kind of have to, since it is tied into this, talk about how the UK is already censoring political stuff, EU is censoring political stuff, Australia is threatening to censor political stuff. That's the kind of stuff China does. So, that's not good. Um, People have been talking about a bunch of VPNs. I know little about Mulvad other than the fact that they are very, very resistant. Proton is another good option. Windscribe seems to be doing great right now. I actually approached them about a partnership, and their whole response was to say that that's a great idea, but we actually don't pay anyone to partner with our stuff because we don't want to be NordVPN. We will put all our money into product and none of it into pushing the product, which I can respect that. So here's me giving them free advertisement in respect of that. No partnership, no sign up links, no referrals, nothing like that. So that is just a quick little spiel. I know that in the past I have talked about VPN Unlimited, but I believe that VPN Unlimited does have European ties, which would not be great right now. I don't know that for sure, so I'd have to go confirm it. I just haven't yet. Which, reminder that VPNs are not the be-all and end-all, but they are really helpful. And as Rippy has pointed out before, there are a lot of ways right now to bypass the ID, though they're starting to do a lot more with that already. It has accelerated greatly.